the Suunto 5. So, let's talk about this famous watch, the Suunto 5. This is one of the first review I will have done on this channel, and I've just taken some note. You should know that I use this watch for about a week only, but I used before the Ambit 3 Peak for, well, I got an Ambit 2 before, so I'm in the world of Suunto since about 6 or 7 years, so I really know what there is to know about those watches. So that wasn't a new thing for me. I was familiar with Suunto, so I was able to, it's a kind of an update version of the Ambit, so it's a kind of the same but different, and we will talk about that. So what I've done in that week, I think I've done the tour of everything there is to know about this watch. So what I've done into that week is that I take note, some positive, others negative, and I'll just share that with you. The first point I want to share with you is a negative point. It's about the screen size. Well, for some people that might be a positive thing, because if we compare with the Ambit 3, well, it's a small watch. The screen is smaller, but the Ambit 3, as you can see, is also a lot thicker. This one is really thin. But I know for some people that is something that you will like. Well, actually, I've got the Tactics, the Garmin Tactics on my end, and this one is really small. And if you are looking for a small watch, well, that's a great watch because it is small, and when you put it on your wrist, you will barely notice that it's there. It's really thin, at least for me, that I'm used to big watch. I love big watch, so the fact that this one is small is something I personally don't like, but I can understand that this might be something you're looking for. But if we come back to the size of the screen, which is small, it can be a cons a lot of time. So if you just want to look at your watch and watch the time or your speed or the elevation, I realize that if you are walking or do a soft activity, that's fine. But when you start to run or do cycling at very high speed, it is small and you will have a hard time to see the info you want. And not only because it's small, but I think they do not use the screen wisely. As you can see, if we take a closer look and I turn the light on, you see some information could be bigger. I think they should leave less blank space, make the information more close to each other to give the opportunity to make it bigger. Because if you do hard activity, you will have a hard time to read it. That's the first negative point. The next point is a positive point, and it is how easily it is possible to modify your screen on activity. Unfortunately, you can't modify a screen while you are on activity, but compared to the Ambit 3 that you had to go on moves count, that is now closed, but you still need to go on moves count to modify something and then connect your watch with the cable to your computer with the Suunto Link application and modify it on moves count so the next time you connect it, it works. That's a kind of bummer for today. It was fine for many years ago, but today it should be easier. And, well, it is. So when you go, I'll take my phone, and when you go on the, no, not on the settings, when you go on your watch, you see on the upper right corner, you've got your watch with the check mark in it. And the watch had been seeing a minute ago. And if you just go in sport mode customization, well, you click on this, you wait a few seconds, and you've got all your sport mode. And as you can see, I have customized 3 of them: walking, cycling, and hiking. And if you want to modify something or create a new sport, you just hit the create sport button. But let's go for the walking sport mode. As you can see, you can have up to 4 fields. That, however, is a negative point. On my Ambit 3, I was able to got 8 screens, if I well remember, and was able to put a lot of screen depending on what I want to do. So if, by example, on cycling, what I want to see the most often is my speed, my distance, and my heart rate. But if I'm climbing something, maybe I will want to see my elevation, my vertical speed, or the degree of the hill I'm in, the number of meters I have climbed so far since the beginning of the activity, some kind of things like that. And I want multiple field of screen depending of what I am doing. So I don't want to change the activity depending on what I'm doing. I just want to have a lot of screens to adapt to what I do actually. Unfortunately, with the Suunto 5, you can only have 3 screens plus the GPS one. So what I do is I pick the first one, put the most information, put the most important information. So actually on this one, it will be the current activity distance, the heart rate, the pace, and the duration. And on the second one, well, I like to have the third one with some graph about the elevation because I like the graph. So this one is a screen that I use only for that. And on the other one, I just put the most information on it. But as I said at the beginning, the screen is small. So if you put 7 information on the same screen, whoa, you will have real small info. So you must stop and watch, because if you're moving fast, it will be hard to see. So, but it's easy to adjust. So you come on the app and you choose what you want. And it's easy to understand. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I want to change 3, which is the pace, I hit on the pace and I choose what I want. And it's well classified. So there is cadence, distance, and you find subcategories onto that: duration and time, which will be current activity duration, current interval duration, which is, I think, the same thing as the current activity duration. You got the end of route ETA, the lap duration, the sunrise, sunset. This one is actually weird. Sunrise, sunset, that was better done on the Ambit because the option was sunrise, sunset. And this one is sunrise or sunset. This means that on the Ambit, when I choose the sunrise sunset option, I had the following event. So if you were in the middle of the day, you would know that the sun will set in 6 hours. And as soon as the sun sets, you will know that the sun will rise in 9 hours. This one will tell you, well, today the sun set at 1943. Not in how much time. It will tell you the time it will set. So it is your job to do the calculation for how many time you have left. And when it will set at 1943, it will tell you what time it will set tomorrow. Actually, I don't care. What I would like to know is it's in how many time it will rise. So yeah, that's different information here. So yeah, time of the day, heart rate, many information about the heart rate, a lot of information actually. Interval, navigation, other, which is empty or lap number. Your calories, power, speed and pace, vertical, so the altitude, ascent, descent, lap ascent. Yeah, you got a lot of information, and you click on the one you want, and that's done. At the end, you hit save, and it will sync to your watch in the next seconds. That's great. Actually, still as on the Ambit 3, you can't modify an information while you are on sport mode. So if you're using it and you said to yourself, I would like to have my vertical speed. Well, you can't unless you stop the activity, end it, modify it, and restart it. So it will break your activity in half. So choose carefully what you will want to have. Or just do as I do. If I take my cycling here, well, it's about the same thing, maybe a little bit different information, but I will have a screen full of information just in case I want this tiny little information at some point. But yeah, after all, that's really, really well done. Another thing that is great, if you're familiar with the Ambit, you've got route or point of interest that you have to, again, do on MoveScan and connect with the cable and something. And when they do the closure of MoveScan and force you to go to the Suunto app, well, probably that you have been on the map and try to add some things or create a route, and at the end you had not any option to send that map to your watch, and that's kind of stupid. But that is solved with the Suunto 5, because if I come here and click create a route, it says tap anywhere to create something. So let's say I want to start at this very point. So I just hit the screen, and then I want to go right there, and it will automatically create you a route to follow, because you won't have a map inside it, but you will see the line and you will know where to turn. So when you're satisfied, you can create other points if you would like. And when you're satisfied with this, you hit done, you give it a name, You can say use and watch and save. And even if I said use and watch, it's not there. But if I hit here, in the next second, it will go straight to the watch. And the next time I will start an activity or I want to travel somewhere, well, I can have it directly into my watch. If we come back here to the main screen, well, it says it was synced 10 minutes ago, but if I hit sync now, it will send it just right now, or if I wait, it will be done automatically. You can also add a point of interest just like that. And another interesting thing we've got here is everywhere I have been this year, it's on the map. That's fun to look. And you can even come here, it says this year, but you can look at this week, this month, or you can go on custom and see from, let's start use Suunto in 2013. So if I hit that and go up to today, it will surely take a bit of time, but I will be able to see everywhere I've been, and I think the map is wonderfully done. Let's give it a few minutes, and yeah, you can see everywhere I've been in Canada, USA, that little point is in Bermuda, it's rushing right now. We've got Hawaii. Every move I made in Hawaii. or I think it's still loading. I know this can be a lot more fluid. You see my Japan bike bicycle, I've got all the trails I've made exactly on which street I've been. It's still rushing, unfortunately, but I know I already see it more fluidly. But that's a very fun map to look at. I want to see everywhere I've been in Europe. Again, my cycling trip. It's very fun to see all the trail. Or if we look at the smaller one in Switzerland, I can go up to a point, and every type of activity have its color. It's really, really well done. So yes, the application is really well done. The interaction between the application and the watch is awesome. The next point, however, is a negative point, and it's about the backlighting. And for this, I will just shut the light. Okay, actually, if we look at the watch in the dark, well, you won't see anything. Not only because the camera is actually set for brighter light, but you see, if I turn on this backlight, you don't see a lot of things. It's still dark. Can I focus? Yes. So actually, yes, you can see well, and if I look it with my eyes, I will see about as well, actually, but sometime, I don't know, this one is kind of hard. I don't know if you can see also that's something a bit stupid, but no, you won't see it, so I'll turn back the light on. What I want to say is that the screen is sometimes really hard to read, and now I'm not speaking about the size, it's more about the backlighting. I mean, if you're outside, or just right now, I've got my big spotlight here and I can see it, it's wonderful. And if you're outside on day, you will always see it very fine. But it's not only a sport watch, it's also a watch. So if you want to look the time in the day, in the house, it's hard to read. You need clear light. And even when you have a hard time to read it with the bad light you have inside, if you turn on the backlight is not strong enough for it to be seen clearly. If you're in the real dark, that's fine, you will be able to see it, but it seems that as soon that there is a bit of light in your room, and you try to read it, and you're not able to read it, and you turn on the light, and you say, well, is it on or off? Sometimes you don't know if the backlight is on or off. So sometimes you will just have hard time to see the time. And that's bad. That's really bad. And yeah, if I compare with this one, that very old screen is more easy to read in about every time. And if I'm not able to read it, I can turn on the light and you will see it clearly. It's always clear. You can read it in about every direction up to, let's say, 75 degree. And this one, you have to face it at 0 degree to see it fine, or let's say up to 30 degree. At some point, it starts to be hard to read. So, yes, the screen is hard to read inside or at bad lighting environment. And what I wanted to say is that the backlighting, I don't know if it's because it's the white model, but when it's dark and you turn on the backlighting, you will see the light under the plastic. That's not so bad, but I mean, I'm looking for, when I buy a watch, I want something that is high quality, and I mean, it's not that bad, but I would like not to see the LED underneath the plastic. It's just a little point like that. Now, the next point is a positive point. And that's a good thing, because it's about the GPS. And it's a GPS watch, so the GPS is a kind of very important point. And the GPS accuracy is great. It's very great. If I look at the map where I pass on bicycle or on foot, it follows about perfectly where I am. Sometimes it will go out of the road a little bit, but just a little bit, and every watch will do that. And if I pass twice at the same time, at the same place, well, it will be about at the same place. So, yes, that's great. Fortunately, I think that one of the reasons of that is because the GPS is just here, outside of the screen, underneath that plastic, so it doesn't have glass or screen to pass through. That's a good thing. The GPS accuracy is very great. I know that some watch have access to more satellite information, but I don't care about that information. What I want at the end is that my watch to be accurate. So I don't care about GPS, GLONASS, or all those names. I don't care about it. I just want something to be, I just want my GPS to be accurate, and this GPS is accurate. So for the week I've used it, it was accurate. Of course, if you stand at a fixed point and stop to move, it will detect you a bit, some feet away, and that will create you a distance. But when you move, the GPS is accurate, and I can ask more. It's accurate. It can be better. It can't be better. It's great. The next point is a positive point, and it comes back to the lightning. So I'll show you an option. If we come here and we can focus on the screen, and I start an activity, so right here, and I start walking. Give it a few seconds, and actually you can see on top that will bring few positive points. You see there is the heart. It's blinking right now. Okay, it stopped blinking because my thumbs is on the sensor. So you've got my heart rate, my actual heart rate, which is actually too high. That is not my actual heart rate, of course. We'll come back to this later, and just beneath it, you've got the location. It is blinking because it didn't get any GPS yet, and it won't actually because we are inside. And beneath that, you've got the time of GPS remaining. And you can change a lot of options from here. So if I go down, actually, I'm not able to read it because it's on reverse and I read it on my camera screen, but you have some option that you can modify before you start the activity. All of those. A lot of things you can change. And if I come back up here, you see you can change the battery mode. It's actually on performance, and yeah, that's great to see. Come on, focus. Okay, we've got performance with 17 hours of battery remaining, and we can go down here to, what is that? Endurance. We give 35 hours, or custom. Didn't try this one, but you can modify something. So normally, the battery says if the battery is full, you've got 20 hours of GPS in performance mode. But yes, you can go in endurance, and that seems to be about the double, so probably 40 hours of endurance mode, but less precise GPS accuracy. But if I'm coming back, there is also the option about the backlighting, which is actually at normal, but I can switch it to on, and this will bring the backlight to on at all time. So if I'm coming back up here, of course it will change my battery time from 17 hours to 12 hours if it can focus on the screen, please. Yes, you see, it's now 12 hours of GPS. But if I compare to the Ambit 3, when I was cycling at night, and I like to cycle at night, or if I was running at night. If I was running at night, that wasn't too bad. I just had to press on the light button to get light and see the info I want. However, when I was cycling, if I was on a cycling road around the lake not too far from my house, there is absolutely no light, so I was not able to see it unless I remove one hand of the handle and bring it close to my hand and press the light button and then watch the time I had for a few seconds to watch the info I needed to watch if I was on the good page, and that was complicated, so at the end I was not looking at my watch at all, even if sometime I wanted to see it. If I was cycling on the road, I was timing myself, so there's a street light coming in, so I'm gonna watch the info while I pass under it. With that option, that is fully solved. Hey, my heart rate is now at 184 beats per minute. We'll come back on this later. I'm serious. I'm actually having a heart attack. Whatever. So yes, with that option, on cycling, that is wonderful, because when I'm cycling in the dark, at all time, I'm able to just watch the watch and got the info because it is backlighted at all time. So yes, it reduced the battery life, but you can use your watch while cycling. That's in the dark. That's great. That's awesome. But know that I found that awesome because I passed from the Ambit 3 to Suunto 5, but now I am using the Garmin Tactics, and this watch is actually my favorite watch. I know it's not the same price, but if you got the budget for the Tactics, I will do a review on this one later, and it is by far my favorite watch. This one, just to tell you, I have the option that when the sun is set, if I watch the watch, so move to that position, it will turn on the backlighting for the number of seconds I want. So actually I set it to be on for, I think it's 8 seconds. So I'm cycling, I take my watch close to my face and it backlights so I can see just for the time I need to watch it. That's mind-blowing. But let's keep talking about the Suunto 5. The next point is a negative point, and it's about the battery. Of course, it's a small watch, so it got a small battery inside. I think actually mine is defective, because when it's fully charged, you go on GPS mode, it says I've got 20 hours of GPS. I think if I ask one of my friends who've got the same watch for over a year, this information is accurate. 20 hours will give you 20 hours of GPS approximately. But not on this watch. Actually, I do between... When I tested, I was doing about 1 hour to maybe 2 hours a day of activity. And by wearing it 24 hours a day to keep tracking of my heart rate and monitor my sleep, and 1 to 2 hours of GPS a day, the battery fully died in 4 days, which is really small. And I would be worried if I do a long cycling trip where I need my GPS for 12 to 16 hours a day, I think it won't make it. But as I said, I think my battery is defective, so I will return this one and get a new one. I'll take the next one, black. Anyway, but yes, I think the battery is defective, but still it's a small watch with a small battery, so you can't expect to get several days of batteries with this kind of watch. And if you're just walking around sometime, few days a week, that's not so bad. I mean, if you wear it 24/7, it will calculate your heart rate, it will calculate your number of steps, it will calculate some kind of things. So yes, you can't expect it to run as long as the Ambit 3, which got a bigger battery and monitor less things. So yeah, you just have to know it. It's not a big con, but you have to be ready that this watch is not made for last a week. You will have to recharge it often, and don't expect to go on an expedition of few days and this guy to handle it all the time. It's not made for that. It won't be a problem for most people. But if you're an adventurer, if you want to go for a long run, that's not for you. That's what I mean. The next point is probably my personal biggest cons. It's the screen. It's a mineral screen. When I buy a watch, there is one thing that the watch absolutely need to have, and it's a crystal sapphire screen. And this one is not. It's a regular mineral screen. What is a crystal sapphire screen? That's what I've got on my Suunto Ambit 3. A crystal sapphire screen is a screen that is not scratchable. You can try to scratch it. Maybe if you use a hammer and you try to break it, yes, it will scratch, probably. I never try it, and I will not try it. But I remember one time, and we've got into many activities, over 1,000 activities, some in muds, some on rock climbing, and there isn't a single scratch on this screen. Can you see? I mean, of course, the bezel is scratched, the middle part, the bezel is scratched, but the screen is just perfect. And the baddest thing I've done with this watch is one time I fell from my bike and I was moving at a certain speed and I just like tilt and I was, what's the word? I did slide through a metal ramp on few meters by still going front at very high speed, and I mean, I don't know the word, but I mean, this time I would had understand if my crystal sapphire screen got scratched, but it didn't get any. So that's why I like a crystal sapphire screen, because this means that at some point, no matter what the price you pay your watch, you don't want to have scratch on your screen. It will make it harder to read, and the only information that thing can give you is over the screen. So if you got scratch on this screen and you can't read what's underneath, that's bad. I mean, of course it's a cheap watch, but I mean, still, it's a watch. So I want to use it and I don't want to have scratch on it. So I can understand that they want to be competitive, and they do not put crystal sapphire screen on every watch because some people just want to buy a cheap watch. But at least, Suunto, please, give me the option to get a crystal sapphire screen on this. Give me the option. I'm ready to pay $200, maybe $300 more just to get the crystal sapphire screen. I don't want to pay for something that will eventually get damaged. I mean, I don't care if my bezel is damaged or if my band is damaged or something, but the screen of a watch is something very important. So please give me the option to get a crystal sapphire screen on this. Of course, you can put a protector in front of it, but I mean, I don't want to put a protector. Often when you put a protector on it, well, it gives you more, it gets more hard to read over it because it's a layer of more that can get reflection or something. And I'm sure that the price of this screen is higher than the protector I will put on it. So just please give me the option to put a crystal sapphire screen on this. I mean, I buy this watch only to make video on YouTube. Personally, I would not buy this watch for my personal activity just because you can put a crystal sapphire screen on this. For this reason only, I would not buy it. The next point, however, is a positive point, and it's the price. Well, it can get also negative, but the price is cheap. I mean, actually, from the recording date of this video, the price on the Suunto website is in Canadian dollar, $350. That's cheap for a watch that can do this much. And I think that if $350, if the maximum you can put on a watch, well, that's probably the best option because it can do a lot for $350. And that's great. However, the negative side of this is that the price varies a lot. If you're subscribed to Suunto alerts, you will have often in the years discounts on the watch. And if you look the price on eBay, you can see my link in the description. My link will take you to several websites and you will be able to see the price from every website and you will see that it varies a lot, but a lot. And actually, this one, I paid it, I think, $235 or $34. But it's back to $350. And I only have this watch since a month. And I see it go down up to $200. So I paid it $230. It goes up to $360. And then it go down to $205, and now it's back to $350, and it's really, really hard to follow. So that's the thing I don't like. Please put a static price on this. Don't change it, and put it on discount maybe on Black Friday and when you will get to a new generation of the Suunto 5. Please stop, change the price. But it's static. That just creates frustration. But still, it's a cheap watch, and that's a positive thing. The next points are positive things that will, however, bring to negative. So, if I still compare it to my Ambit, this one do some things that my Ambit doesn't do. It got my heart rate. Just by wearing it, it got my heart rate. And it also tracked my sleep, which is great. So I can see on the graph at the end of the day my average heart rate and how well did I sleep, how much time I passed on deep sleep or when I was awake, light sleep, those kind of things. Though that are great things to see, things to watch, and that also bring the fact that probably the only thing I dislike about the Ambit 3 was that when I got my heart rate, I had to put a belt that I need to wash, change the battery sometimes, look for because I don't remember where I put it. And with that one, I just have to go outside and I've got my heart rate. Of course, I will lose my respiration rate because the belt keep track of your chest respiration. But that one doesn't get that, but it gets straight to your wrist, your heart rate. So that's amazing. Now, what's the negative point of this? Is that I will say it's a gadget because it's not accurate. As you had seen before, while I was showing you some stuff, my heart rate was about at 180 beats per minute. No, actually I'm at 82. 82. Which is far to be 180. That was probably the same thing before. I would say that if you wear it, that was probably because I was handling it with my hand and my thumbs was a bit on it and it got a poor reading. But it often get a poor reading. Actually, I will remove my tactics and show you something. Normally, I would wear my watch like this. So as you can see, there is a small movement. I can put 2 fingers underneath. It's kind of loose. I want it to be loose. I don't want that it cut my blood circulation. Like that, you will get your heart rate sometime. Not that often. I find that if you are walking, that might be fine. If you're running, it will get a bit of trouble to read it, but generally by running, it's not that bad. But if you're cycling, whoa, that's terrible. Terrible on cycling. They say in the manual that you have to wear your watch. Well, I mean, before speaking of the manual, I find that if I get a bit less of hole and make it just, actually I have hard time to pass one finger, it's better. It's a lot better, but it's still not perfect. But when you read the Suunto manual, they say textually that you have to wear your watch higher on your wrist, not at the normal place you would wear a watch, and wear it like this, at this position. And that is stupid, because nobody wear a watch like this, not only because it's stupid, but because it's impossible. Because your wrist is thicker here than here. So in a few minutes, of course, the watch will move to that place because it gets loosened over there. So you can't keep your watch here. You will move and the watch moved right there. And it was, yes, it's now it's stuck there. But if I move, what you do when you do a sport activity, it will move back there. So that's impossible. And they also said that if you have a tattoo, it will have a hard time to read underneath it. So it's a gadget. When I do cycling, I would say that about half of the time, more than half of the time, when I take a look to my watch to see my heart rate, it doesn't say anything. It's a too little bar because it's not able to read it. That's bad. I mean, it's great. I have a heart rate sensor underneath my watch, but I'm not able to use it because it doesn't work properly. So at this point, why force me to buy something underneath a watch that I will not use because I would like to use it, but it's not working? I can say that this watch is a navigation tool. That works fine because the GPS is great, the information about the GPS is accurate. If you want to follow a path, if you want to go to a point, it's accurate. So it's a navigation tool. But for the rest, it's gadget. And I was talking about the sleep monitor. The very first night I wear the watch, I would say the information was accurate. That's great because it tells you at what time you go to bed, how was your sleep, how was your light and deep sleep, when were you awake, and at what time you wake up. And for the first night, I would say it was about 100% accurate. Yes, I would say that. It pretty much give me the time I go to sleep at the very minute and the time I wake up at the perfect minute. However, I don't know why, since the third night, or the fourth one, it did says I go to sleep at the moment I go take my shower. So when I go take my shower, I remove my watch, put it on the sink, and go wash myself and put the watch back to my wrist. And I was awake for probably around 2 hours after that. Walking in the house, sitting in front of the TV, but keep moving in the house, brushing my teeth, you know, moving a lot. And it was saying that I was sleeping while I was walking and brushing my teeth. And it says that I wake up at the moment I go to the toilet in the middle of the night. So I've been to the toilet for 1 minute and go back to sleep for about 4 hours. But on the graph, I wake up when I've been to the toilet. And that wasn't a one-time mistake. So it's not accurate. It done that few other times. So what is the point to have a graph to monitor your sleep and your heart rate if it's not accurate? In my head, it's worthless. So I think it's good the thing to put it on, but they need to work on it because actually it's worthless. Oh, and about the sleep tracking, there is another thing why you won't use it, and it's that. Maybe you don't see it actually because it's a light environment, but it's like a flashlight. I mean, I know you put it on your wrist, but still, it is so bright that it will light up everything around, even when you hold it tight on your wrist. And of course, you will not want to sleep with a tight band on your wrist. You want something loose. So as soon as you got something loose, I don't know if you see underneath, but yeah, you see the light. And in a very dark environment, it does a lot of light. And the heart rate actually on this watch doesn't monitor your heart rate 24/7. It do it for about 1 minute every 20 to 30 minutes. So at some point, maybe you will sleep with your watch not too far from your face and boom, it will light up and maybe wake you up because it is very, very, very bright. And I know if I compare to a bigger watch, as you can see already, this one, this one I need to put something underneath it. So yeah, it light up, and it doesn't show that much on the screen, but it light up. It's like a fade light compared to this one, and because maybe because of the size of the watch or just the way it's made, you will rarely see the light of it. And actually this one, I wear it now 13 nights in a row, and never I see the light into the night. And this one, I wear it for 7 nights about, and it disturbed me every single night. Yeah, it's a point I needed to talk about. Then I've got another negative point. Well, positive and negative. It's about the band. The band is a really great band. This one is made in silicone, and it's a great quality. It's a great quality band, and it's also very well done because, as you can see, can you focus? Yes. You see those little point here. It's stick to those guys, and it's not moving, and you don't have to. What I mean is that you don't have to adjust your band all day long. You just put it at the beginning of the day or when you want, and it just stick like that. You don't need to play with it. You don't need to adjust it. You don't need to move something because it doesn't move. It's awesome. The band is really, really well done. The negative point about the band is that I don't know if it's a mistake, but if you look on the Suunto website, you can't order a replacement band. You can order a replacement band for still the old Ambit 3. You can order a replacement band for the Suunto 7, the Suunto 9, but not the Suunto 5. Of course, if you look on Amazon, you will probably find jobber bands. But why is Suunto not reselling its band? I mean, I changed the band on this one because it broke, and I can see that at some point, if I had continued to use the Ambit 3, I would have to replace it sometime. But yeah, why are you not selling band on your website, Suunto? Because when the band will be broken, well, I would like to buy another band instead of another watch. That would make more sense. And if you look at it, there is a screw on both sides, so you can replace it. So why? The next point is about the face watch. I would like for a smartwatch from today to got more things to be possible to put on the watch face. Actually, well, let's compare to the Ambit 3. Actually, I've got the date, so April 20. I've got the time. I've got the pressure that is actually stable, so I could see if it's rising or going down. I've got the battery percentage. I've got the number of steps of the day. I know we are Tuesday. I know it's 41 seconds. I've got a second time. It's 6:30. I don't remember where that time was. And back to pressure again. And if I move a little bit, I've got the altitude. You are not able to see it, but whatever. I've got the altitude, the sunrise and sunset time. I've got the compass. I've got a countdown. And I've got my calendar activity of the week. On this one, yes, of course, I can move from... Oh, let's show that to you. Yes, of course, I can move to a page to another if it can focus. Yes. So I've got the heart rate, which is not accurate. And we've got the... it says I'm stressed. Yes, of course. No, I'm really not stressed. You've got your calories, and you can move from things to things. Actually, it's all to 0 because I'm now wearing my Garmin Tactics. I've got my sleep monitor. I can go to multiple things, which is great. But on the main screen, the only thing I got is the actual time, the sunset time, and the moon phase. The moon phase, which is good. Actually, the moon phase is at 55%. I've got the battery percentage, and I know we are Tuesday 20. Not able to get the month. If I don't remember, we are in April. There is no way to see it. I've got the Montreal time, and I've got the sunrise time. And that's it. That's it. If I want to see other things, I need to move to another page. So I realized that we are able to see more things on this one than on this one. I'd like to got more things. Of course, you can change the watch face if you want needle or if you want other type of watch face. You can easily change it, but I think the list of watch face is kind of small, and the information you can get on the single page here is kind of small, and I would have liked to add more things on the watch face. Again, if I just compare with the Garmin Tactics, just right here on the first page, I've got the time. I know we are Tuesday 20. Again, I don't know that I am on April, but that could be solved. I've got the actual altitude. I've got the battery time remain. I've got the outside temperature. I've got my heart rate, and I know that the sun will set at 1942. On a single page. But that's great. That's better. And I think they could have done something on this watch. Even if the screen is smaller, I would have liked to got the possibility to get more information on the screen. The next point is a positive point, and it's about the heart rate. On this one, there is the heart rate zone. So, are you relaxing? Doing a little activity? Are you in the middle zone? Are you working hard? Or are you working at maximum? So that's the 5 zone you will see on about every heart rate monitor. And you can also see it on Strava, or you can see it on the Suunto app. And this one got the monitor on your wrist. So instead of seeing, well, you can see that your heart is beating at 155 beats per minute, but you can also see that this speed of heart rate is in the 4th zone, by example. So if you want to remain in the 3rd or in the 4th zone, or just say, let's say you want to remain in the 3rd zone, which is the middle one, so which is working hard but not too hard, and you want to remain in that one, you can tell your watch, yes, I want to remain here, and it will tell you, hey, watch out, you are now in the 2nd zone, you need to work harder, or watch out, you're in the 4th zone, please take a rest, work less. That's great. It's not a feature that I use, and it's not something I think I will use in the future, but it's a great feature. Of course, again, the heart rate monitor is not accurate, but I did not try it yet, but probably that my Ambit 3 heart rate should work on that one because they are both Bluetooth smart. So they should work together. So if I want something accurate, I should probably be able to use my hold heart rate. Another positive things would be about the way it is easy to use. I think it is... I mean, I don't have trouble to use that watch at all. I have this ability to be to find every technology device easy to use. That's a strong point for me, but I know that it's not the case for everybody. I have a very strong learning curve about those kind of device. But this one I think is really easy for about anybody that have the ability to be not too worried to try some things. You can navigate in the menu. There is pictures. It is clear. It is easy to understand. The interface is user-friendly. The next point is a negative point again for me. There is no barometer. Maybe you don't care about this. What does a barometer? A barometer calculates the atmospherical pressure. That information, I don't care. But it becomes important when you want to calculate your elevation. So if you're climbing a lot of mountain, a barometer is something you want into your watch if you want to know the altitude you're at. Actually, this watch can calculate your altitude with triangulation of GPS. This one, this very old watch from 2015 or maybe 16, can calculate the elevation, of course, with the GPS, but will also adapt it with the atmospherical pressure. The atmospherical pressure change if you go higher or lower, and it can calculate it with the atmospherical pressure, and it gives real accurate data compared to this one. For example, if I go on a ride with my bicycle, I start from my home, I go around, and I end up at the very same point at my home. With my good old Ambit 3, the elevation I gain versus the elevation I lose is about the same at 5% difference. Maximum 5%. With this one, it can go up to 40%. So if I take one example, on April 4th, I've climbed 99 meters, but I go down 61. But again, I start and end at the very same point. So you can see that the information is very, very not accurate. And that's bad. When I'm on the mountain and I'm reaching a summit, I really want to know how much meter left I have to climb. And I need a device in which I can trust to know that information. This one I can trust. This one I can't. This one is from 2015, and this one is from today. So I know for a lot of people, if you're just running on flat, or if you're just walking, or if you do light activity, if you do inside workout, if you do rollerblade, if you do skateboard, if you do swimming, you absolutely don't care about this info. But as soon as you play in mountain and want to know at what altitude you're at, or if you want accurate information when you're climbing on bicycle or something like that, that's not a tool I can trust because it's not accurate. And about the elevation, the only reason it's not accurate is because it doesn't have a barometer inside. But again, it's a small watch. If you want something small, of course, you have to sacrifice some things. And it's also a cheap watch. This one was more expensive 6 years ago. And it's a thicker watch. So, of course, there is the place for a bigger battery. There is a place for a barometer. So, size comes with sacrifice. One more negative point, if I compare again with that watch, maybe it's only because I didn't find the option, but I searched well and I really didn't find it. When I'm running, the biggest run I do is 10K. I'm mostly a cycling or a hiking guy, but when I do running, the biggest run I will do is a 10K. And there was a feature on this one that tell me how much time I need to run at the speed I'm going to end my 10K. It's not available on this one. One positive thing, however, if we still compare, is the point we have seen before about the things you can adjust before you start an activity. So on this watch, you choose the precision of the GPS accordingly to the type of activity. And it's freeze until you go back to your computer, adjust it, and sync your watch. However, on this watch, if by example, you didn't have the time to recharge it last night, and you want to do an activity today, you know you will be active for about 8 hours, but you only have 6 hours of battery left, you can do some sacrifice, maybe on the heart rate, maybe on the GPS accuracy, maybe on the backlighting. You can do sacrifice to expand the battery life. So you will be able to pass from 16 hours to maybe 12 or 18 hours of GPS time instead of the one that was determined on your computer. So that's a great point. The fact that you can make some adjustment before you start an activity. Another positive point, again, versus the Ambit, is that you have an infinite number of activity mode recorded into the watch. So the Ambit was able to got 10 sport mode. This one got them all. That's great. I probably do 3 or 4 type of sport really often. Walking, cycling, and hiking. Those are the sport that I want to have at all the time into my watch. But probably I do practice about 15 sport. And some of them really not often. Some like ice skating. I do it maybe one time a year. And I did skip last winter for this sport. So it's a sport I can afford to not have into my watch. But what happened is that often if I end up going ice skating, I will not have the mode into my watch. So I would need to go on my computer and sync it to delete sport and add the ice skating, and that's a kind of a bummer. This one got all the sport already inside the watch. So even if you don't have your phone, you can scroll to every sport mode possible. You will not be able to adjust the information you will see. It is predetermined by Suunto, by the watch. But if you have your phone, you can adjust it. But if you don't have your phone, well, at least you can have the sport mode of what you're doing. The next point is also a positive point, and it's about the speed of synchronization. So as soon as you finish an activity, it should take maximum 1 minute if you have your phone not too far to sync it on your phone, and you don't have nothing to do. You don't need to use the cable to connect it, or you don't need to open the app and wait for the synchronization to be done. I know it can also be done automatically now with the Suunto Ambit 3, but sometimes it doesn't work. You have to reconnect it, and it doesn't work at all the time. But with this one, it works really fast. It works really, really fast. So maximum 1 minute after the end of the activity, you got your activity on the Suunto app, and 1 minute later, it's already on Strava. If you sync it with Strava. I personally sync all my activity with Strava. The next point is a negative point, but it's not a so bad point. But I did realize that it was a negative point since the moment I use a Garmin watch. You see, this button right here on this watch is on the other side. And this makes sense because on this watch, the button you will use the most are on the right side because they are the button you use to navigate. This one is only the backlight and this one is the return. So yes, you can press the button here with your index, but it's kind of hard to use on the lower side. So you will end up to use the side of your index to press the button. And it's not comfortable. However, on this watch, you will use your thumb to navigate. Schlack, schlack. See? It's make more sense to use your thumb than your index. The button you will use less is this one because it's a return button. And well, I think it's more logic to use the button on the left. However, if you're left-handed, that's a great watch for you because you will wear your watch on the right side and be able to use your thumbs like on the Garmin watch. So I would say that it's a left-handed watch. The two last points are positive. The first one is about the application. I think the application is really, really well done. You can see a lot of information. You can use the calendar. You got great tracking of all the things. The application is good for the Suunto 5, 7, for the 9, and maybe some others. I mean, the Ambit 3 was synced on this one. You can see a lot of information, and it's a great app. And the very last positive things is that I know it's kind of stupid, but it's a very strong positive point. It's that on every page of activity, you can read the time of the day. How much time on my Ambit 3 sometime asked me, hey, what time is it? And I was like, wait a minute. I don't know. On the Ambit 3, if you don't think to put the time of the day, when you program your sport mode, you will not be able to get the time. However, on this watch, on every page, you will be able to read the time of the day at the very top of the watch. And it's a watch, so it makes sense that you have something that tell you the time of the day wherever you are. So that's a very positive thing. Okay, let's get serious. How do I rate this watch? And let's say that I'm very severe when I do a review on a product. I have high standard of quality. I'm usually not buying cheap product. I want the best. And I buy the best. Because I'm not rich enough to buy cheap product. That's one of my philosophy. So usually, when I got a product, either it's awesome or it's crap. And sometimes there is devices that go in the middle. But that doesn't happen too often. But this one is one that go in the middle. I would give it the note to 5 out of 10. I mean, if you want to use this watch as something who do light activity, walking, maybe running. Running is not a light activity, but I think it's great for running. If you do activity for, I don't know, maybe maximum 7 hours a week, physical activity doesn't have this great place in your life. Maybe that's the watch for you. But as I said, it's a navigation tool with gadget. It's not only a tool. It also has gadget. And I mean, this watch, the Garmin Tactics, have every features that is in the Suunto 5 is also in the Garmin Tactics. But in the Garmin Tactics, they are not gadget, they are tools. They are tools because the information they give is accurate. So if you don't care about accuracy, that's the watch for you. Because you will save a lot of money. And if you don't have too much money to put in a watch, and this $350 Canadian is the maximum you can put on the watch, that's probably the best watch you can get for your money. But if you want something serious, I would go with the Garmin Tactics. That's a mind-blowing watch. I only have it since 13 days, so I will do a review about it in probably 1 or 2 months, because I have a lot of things to test again on this watch, and I'm not familiar with it, so I'm not able to do a review as fast as this one, because I'm familiar with the Suunto world, because I'm in since a lot of years. But yes, it's a watch you want if you're not too serious about accuracy or sport activity. That's a watch that can save your life if you are lost in the woods. That's a serious tool with gadget. Yeah. Definitely, it's not a watch for me. I want something accurate. I want something better than this. I want something with a greater battery. I want something with crystals, a sapphire crystal screen. And that's definitely not a watch for me. When I go out on expedition that will last for weeks, I can't trust this watch. So that's not for me. So maybe if you're not too serious about it, I can go up to maybe 7 or 8 out of 10. No, 7 out of 10, no more. But for me, it's a 5 out of 10. But still, today, if I had the choice between the brand new Suunto 5 and my good old Suunto Ambit 3 Peak, I would keep my good old Suunto Ambit 3 Peak, because this is not a gadget. This is only a tool. A tool that is accurate, with a greater battery life and more accurate information. So still, if I had to keep one of those two watch, that would be this one. Unfortunately, If you're looking for a watch today, definitely, if you have the option between the Suunto 5 and the Ambit 3, go with the Ambit 3. I think. If you want something more serious, go with the Ambit 3. Unfortunately, this one is the Ambit 3 Peak. The Ambit 3 Peak at the Sapphire crystal screen, and it's discontinued. Now you can only have the Suunto Ambit 3, which is exactly the same thing as this one, but you don't have the Sapphire crystal screen. But it's cheaper. This one was $650 Canadian at the time. So yes, if you want to go on the Suunto today, I would go with the Ambit 3. And if you have more money to put, I would go with the Garmin Tactics, that I will do a review later. So if you want to shop for one of those products, please see my link in the description. You will be able to go into multiple stores with those links. And of course, I do a commission out of those sales if you follow my links, so I greatly appreciate it. I will also leave you the links of the video I will make about future watch in the description. And do not hesitate to ask a question if you have some in the description. I hope this video will have helped you to make your choice in your next watch, and take care. So this is it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy. And if you need help to find this product online, please see my links in the description. And finally, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel so you can find me back easily next time you're looking for a great review video. See ya!